Good evening, everyone. My name is Mitesh. I'm from Success at School, and I'm going to be your host for the evening. You're on this webinar because you want to hear from IBM and about their early career offering, so I'm going to keep this short. Tonight, you're going to hear from IBM, a multinational technology company. You'll hear from John, the early professional manager at IBM, Olivia, who is a technology enablement operational support intern, and Zach, who is currently a test engineer apprentice. Before I hand it over to John, I have a small request. If you have any questions, could you please ask them in the chat, and we will go through them in the Q&A session at the end. We're expecting quite a few people to join us this evening, so we'll do our best to answer as many questions as we can. The webinar will also be recorded and uploaded to our YouTube channel, Success at School, so you can rewatch the webinar as many times as you like. And also don't forget to follow us on Instagram. We'll put some clips up on there too. John, it's over to you. There you go.
Thanks very much, Mitesh, for the introduction, and thanks to everyone for spending part of your evening with us today. So as Mitesh said, my name is John Griffin. I'm part of the management team responsible for all of the early professionals in IBM. At the moment, we have over 500 early professionals working at IBM, and that consists of gap year students, university placement students or interns, apprentices and graduates, and I'll tell you a little bit more about those throughout the course of the presentation. I also have with me this evening Liv and Zach, who are early professionals at IBM. I'm going to hand over to them shortly through the presentation. I'll let them introduce themselves and provide a bit more information about themselves at that point. So what are we going to cover today? So for now, I'm going to provide a short overview of IBM, share some of the opportunities available, and provide details of how you can actually get involved and how you can also apply for IBM. So it'll give you a bit of an insight into the opportunities available. So let me move on and talk about a little bit more about IBM and what we're about. So first of all, we've got possibility here. So this is a theme for us at IBM. So what do we mean? What does possibility mean at IBM? For us, it really means we're talking about limitless ways for you to do meaningful work at IBM. And this is work that matters for our clients and for our society, and work that makes an impact. Everything we do, we're very keen on making sure it has an impact. And we're not just focused on serving our customers, but we also have a real focus on serving our communities as well in the work that we do. So there are so many possibilities for impact. You can make a change at IBM, and you can actually change the world in some of the things that we're doing across clients and in our communities. Curiosity is another theme for us. So whilst we each bring something different to IBM, I'd say one thing that unites us is our sense of deep curiosity as IBMers. So at IBM, we are excited about continuously learning. We're excited about sharing expertise. We give and receive feedback. These are very much parts of our culture and the norms of our culture at IBM, and having that curiosity. We don't expect you to be an expert when you start something new, but what we do expect is that you'll be excited about the journey of learning and growing so that you can do your best work possible, and that truly comes from being curious. So what do we do? How do we support individuals across the organisation in terms of that development? We've got here, always be learning. If you love to learn, then IBM is a great place for you, because it's very much part of our culture at IBM to develop and learn. And there really are so many opportunities to grow your skills and knowledge whilst you're working at IBM. Most of our learning resources, or a lot of them, are digital and self-paced. So it makes the learning accessible to you whenever you need it and wherever you are. And here we've got a list of some of the resources that are available to us. I won't go through them all, but Your Learning is our platform for online learning and digital credentials that we have there. We have a full end-to-end career support platform as well, so you can look at different career paths in terms of your development. We've got digital badges, again, digital credentials that are not only important for IBM, but important across the marketplace. And actually here, we've got the last bullet here on skills build for students. So for skills build, you don't have to be an IBMer to access this. This is providing students and educators access to digital learning in areas such as AI, cloud computing and cybersecurity. And it's designed to really provide 14 to 20-year-old learners and educators access to some of those foundational technology competencies. And what I would say is anyone can go on and sign up for Skills Build. You can actually collect digital credentials and digital badges, and you can actually have them on your CV even before you apply to work at IBM, which is a great place to start. Inclusivity. So inclusivity is extremely important to us at IBM. I've mentioned earlier that we are curious about each other. We value the different experiences and perspectives that each of us bring to the workplace to create the best impact possible. And I'd say that IBM really does have a long history in promoting diversity and inclusion in the workplace. And many times that's actually before other corporations do so. And in fact, there have been times where IBM are really ahead of policy, government policy, in terms of its diversity and inclusivity. And this dates right the way back to the 1950s, when Thomas Watson Jr. Created a policy for diversity and inclusion. So the hiring of people without regard to race, color, creed, and that was the first US corporation to issue such a mandate. And then the years that followed, it was expanded to include religion, sex, gender identity, or expression, sexual orientation, national origin, genetics, disability, or age. Today, IBM continues its legacy of building a diverse and inclusive culture where everybody can bring them full selves to work. And there are a number of programs that support that. Again, I won't go through all of these. Embrace is our global initiative to directly confront racism. Be Equal is something to ensure equality for everyone through learning. And actually, we have quite a big focus on allyship in IBM. And again, I mentioned the learning and the badges earlier. We are all encouraged to make sure that we go through the learning in terms of equality, go through the learning to actually gain the badges. And as I say, allyship is fundamental to everything that we do. So we are an inclusive corporation. I'd say at the bottom there, as AI is becoming more of a focus, not only with IBM, but across the world, we have a strong focus when it comes to good tech and ethics around AI. I'll give you an example, actually, of something that's happened with one of my apprentices that I manage only a couple of weeks ago at a cognitive conference. There's a panel talking about AI ethics. And one of my apprentices was actually on that panel talking about AI ethics, because that's an area that they specialize in. So again, it's something that we're very, very focused on. So I'm going to come on to individuality. So this is the final section here. So what does that mean at IBM? What does individuality mean at IBM? So as I mentioned, diversity and inclusion is a priority for IBM. And when we talk about valuing diversity, we also talk about valuing all the unique skills and experiences our IBMers bring to the company, and that really adds to the richness of the organization. Every individual has a unique set of skills, career ambitions. You can really be yourself here and choose your own career adventure. Talking about career changes and internal mobility, they're not unusual, they're encouraged. You don't have to be restricted to a singular career path. You are full of individuality, and then therefore so should your career journey, and that reflects that. Okay, I'm going to move on to a little bit more to share some of the opportunities that we actually have for early professionals that you may be interested in now, and a bit of an overview to begin with. I'm going to go through each of these in a bit more detail on the following slides, but whether you're coming towards the end of school or academia and you're not sure what to do, a gap year, also called our Futures program, might be for you. If you feel like you're absolutely ready for work, then apprenticeships could be an option. If you're at university or thinking about going to university, we have some summer internships, we have a thriving university placement scheme, and then we have a graduate scheme as well if you decide to join IBM after university. So I'm going to go into those in a bit more detail. And I'll start with the Futures scheme, which is for those that might be looking to spend a year, 12 months in business to try and get a better understanding, build up some experience. We have roles in business, design and technical for a 12-month gap year scheme. You can see at the bottom of the slide there some of the criteria and requirements in terms of the GCSEs that you require. We don't look for work experience. So the work experience is coming as part of your futures year. So we're not looking for people that are necessarily technical or that have experience in computing or anything like that. We're quite open to anybody that wants to join us, and as I say, is curious, is individual, and wants to learn. They're full-time roles. They are paid roles. So the starting salary in London is £19,500, and there is the opportunity to earn a further £1,000 performance-related bonus at the end of that 12 months. And we have roles that are available across the nation, so London, Portsmouth, Winchester, Manchester, and also Warwick as well. So that's something to consider if you're not sure what to do and would like a taste of the professional working environment. The IBM University Placement Scheme, and Liv will talk about her experience with this in a little bit more detail, but here again, it's a 12-month scheme. Typically in your third year of university, you'd come in and do, it's also called kind of like a sandwich scheme, come in as part of your degree, get some experience in the workplace, be able to kind of apply what you've learned at university. Again, we're not restrictive at all in terms of what university you're at or what degree you're doing. We just want people that want to come and learn and actually contribute to the organisation. A little bit more detail on that. Penultimate year of the undergraduate, as I say, it's 12 months. It's fully paid. Our university placement students are in roles which are very clearly contributing to the business. We couldn't actually, I don't think we could operate actually without any of our early professionals, but our university placement students come in and actually fill some really important roles for us in those 12 months. And as you can see, we're hiring across business, technology, marketing, HR, software dev, and design. So pretty much the full scope of roles that we have here at IBM, and again across the nation as well. Coming on to our apprenticeship scheme. So we have, again, a very large, thriving apprenticeship scheme. We have 3-year schemes or 4 years if it's a degree apprenticeship. We offer apprenticeships all the way from level 3 to level 7 at IBM. Again, they are full-time permanent roles. So when you join as an apprentice, you are not joining just for the period of your apprenticeship. You are a full-time employee of IBM from day one. And that is not always the norm. Okay, so you don't have to complete your apprenticeship and then look for a job or reapply. You are a full-time employee at that stage that you join. Starting salary there of £22,000. And I'll go into a little bit more detail in terms of what some of those apprenticeships are that we offer. So on the business side, we've got a level 4 apprenticeship, which is a junior management consultant apprenticeship. Again, you can see the criteria here at the bottom for all of these offerings. That level 4 apprenticeship is actually something that we deliver as an employer, and we are also the training provider of that apprenticeship. So on the first slide, you may have seen a banner that said Ofsted Outstanding. We received an Ofsted Outstanding result because of that apprenticeship specifically, because that's something that we actually deliver not only as the employer, but also the training provider. It provides a broad set of commercial consultancy management skills and behaviours across the course of, that's actually a two-year apprenticeship. On the technical side, at level 4, we've got a junior DevOps engineer and we've got a test engineer. We work with some training providers to actually deliver those, but you gain your on-the-job learning and development within the roles at IBM, usually working on client projects. And then on the degree apprenticeship side, which is a level 6, our focus is on the digital and technology solutions degree, which is a technical based degree apprenticeship. Again, I can't emphasize enough that you don't need to have any technical background to do that, or any of these roles for that matter. I manage somebody in a test role that had never done a day's testing before joining IBM, and now they're being considered for team leadership roles within the next sort of 18 months or so. I've seen people that have come into the degree apprenticeship there on the digital and technology solutions that have not done any technical training or study prior to joining IBM, and absolutely thriving in that environment in terms of learning at university and then being able to apply that at IBM. a little bit more on the IBM degree apprenticeships. So digital technology and solutions, we have also offered a more business related degree apprenticeship, which is a chartered business management degree. There is probably less appetite for that at the moment, and we are looking more so at the digital technology and solutions degree. We do also sometimes have some roles come up for a design degree apprenticeship as well. So all of these degree apprenticeships are a mix of academic study and workplace learning and development. The university that you will be studying with is chosen by IBM. So we work with a select number of universities that we have a very good relationship with. IBM pay for that degree apprenticeship in full. So there's no cost to you. So you're earning money and getting your degree apprenticeship paid for at IBM. And you also don't need to apply via the normal UCAS route. You apply to IBM, and IBM manage that full process in terms of enrolling you at the university and everything that goes with that as well. So hopefully you've got a feel of what we do, why we do it, what makes up a bit of a culture of IBM. Again, here we've got communities. There's a really good social aspect across the early professional community there. The professional and personal development is very impressive in terms of what's available to you. We do a lot of work in terms of communities and giving back to the community. You'll have all of the resources you need in terms of the technology, your laptop, mobile phone, we provide all of that. And then because of the size of IBM, we are able to negotiate some staff discounts for certain things, as well as very good benefits that we have as part of our HR package. There's discounts that we can receive as employees as well. So lots of reasons to choose IBM. So let me now hand over to Liv, and she can share a little bit more about what she's doing. Over to you, Liv.
Thank you. So hi everyone, I'm Liv, and I'm currently doing a placement internship. So I've done 2 years at university already, and this is, as John said, sort of my sandwich year. So I'm in IBM for 12 months. My official title is quite a mouthful, but on my next slide I'll sort of explain where all those words come from, but it's Technology Enablement Operational Support, which when I first joined sounded very intimidating, but it's honestly not. So please could you click to the next slide? Thank you. So I did business, geography and psychology at A-levels. I've never massively known what I wanted to do, but sort of took on a business path as that's kind of what my parents did. So I chose management as a degree because it's really broad and there's so many different modules in there that you can just explore what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy. And part of that degree at Loughborough has allowed me to do a placement role. So it was a very grueling, long process. Said there it took about 7 months, which was basically the entire of my second year. But IBM really stood out for me in the process. It was less about what you've done in the past and more about who you are as a person. So I noticed a question in the chat about what skills they look for. Honestly, a massive part of it is personality and just what you can offer as a person to the business. There's so much scope within IBM for what you can do and what you can achieve that they're looking for someone who is willing and a team player. So I would definitely say just be yourself and get that across in the interviews. I thought in my second year that I wanted to do marketing, so that's what I applied for at first. That one didn't follow through, and then I applied for consultancy. I think there's a slide later on about the application process, so I won't go into that. But essentially you get put in a matching pool and different task managers will pick out your application if they like the sounds of you. So when I interviewed for the role that I'm in now, I sort of had an open conversation with my now manager and said, I'm not entirely sure what I want to do. I'd like some opportunity to expand once I'm in and try different things. And she's been really good at that. So whilst I do work in technology, there's been so much opportunity to try different things in marketing and some of the software that IBM does, more technical stuff, more communication side of things. So I wouldn't worry if the initial title seems daunting, because there is so much that you can do. So now I work in sales enablement, which it's not client facing, it's not direct selling, but it's the team of people that support the sellers and making sure that everybody is trained up to be able to sell. And then I also do some client acquisition. So NCA stands for new client acquisition. And that's kind of where more opportunities come in. So I've done a few events, done some marketing, I've emailed some external clients, and I've only been in IBM for about 3.5 months, and I was doing that pretty soon on. So you get used to it really quickly, you learn fast, there's a massive amount of support that you get along the way. So if you're thinking there's no way I could work for a technology company, like I don't know anything, it's absolutely fine. I didn't know anything either. I hardly knew what IBM actually did, but you learn really, really quickly, and it's a massive community there. You'll make loads of friends. Your managers are there to help you. You've got 3 reviews along the way, so you can have constant check-ins and see where you're up to in terms of how you're progressing. So that's a very whistle-stop tour of my placement so far, and hopefully I will go back on the graduate scheme as well. But for now, I can massively vouch for the placement scheme. It's been amazing for me so far. Yep. Zach, do you want to take over?
Yeah, thanks, Olivia. So yeah, my name is Zach Polly, and currently a level 4 test engineer apprentice. To make it absolutely clear, I am not a degree apprentice. I'm a level 4 apprentice. So what I do, so testing, what that involves essentially is verifying that a business product is fit for business purpose and use, and basically we've eliminated as many defects or bugs, some people might know them as possible before the product goes out. And currently I do a bit of manual and automation testing with that in social programs with the Scottish Government, as that's my client account projects, the Scottish Government. And so yeah, I also participate in plenty of give opportunities like this and other events as well. And in a lot of spare time at work, during the day, or when I have a study day during the week for the level 4 apprenticeships, I often just I invest my time learning things that are relevant to the apprenticeship scheme, but also things that I am interested in and I want to know that might not necessarily be directly related to the scheme or pathway, but that's sort of a slight insight into the things that you can do and see at IBM. So if you move on to the next slide, please, John. So talking a little bit about my pathway and getting here, how I joined IBM. So going back 3 years, 2020, doing my GCSEs. Everyone knows the pandemic hit them, and so after that, sort of moved on to A levels. Stayed at the same school, same community college. Stayed on the 6th form there, and then I studied computer science, IT, politics, and then for AS I did core maths as well. And whilst I was there, I knew for sure that I did not want to go the traditional university route, primarily just because student debt, and I didn't think I would get enough out of it for the sort of career and future that I was aiming for. So that was my sort of reason why I didn't go the traditional university path. But of course, the degree apprenticeships like the ones IBM offers and plenty of other companies like that offer did interest me a lot. and was definitely something I did apply for IBM and other places, but I finally got this one. And so after years, 2022, so just last year, finished my A-levels, started the apprenticeship at IBM, and since then, since last August, I've been, as I mentioned at the start, with the Scottish Government as the client account that I'm working on. And as John mentioned towards the beginning about the possibilities slide, and things have changed the world, the sort of work that I'm doing with the Scottish Government does have an impact on society, which I have seen and people do feel, which is a tremendous positive thing to know, and something with immense joy and pride to work on and say that, yeah, I did that. With loads of people, other apprentices on the account as well, and lots of just really brilliant people that you work with in general that aren't apprentices, full-time people that make the careers out of stuff like this, etc., and different roles, exposing yourself to, etc. It's not just necessarily narrow to I just sit there and do testing all day. I do other things as well, and I dabble sort of my feet in other things, if you like. So experience, during IBM so far as the apprenticeship's not just about the client work, but things you can learn and the things you can partake in events. Probably the biggest highlight for me so far has probably been last October, so a year ago now, was an event that was in London with IBM and BP apprentices coming together and for a day with an innovation workshop and doing all sorts of really cool activities and things. And yeah, so move on to the next slide, please, John. So yeah, on this sort of slide, just put to the right all these sort of digital badges and certifications that John mentioned as well earlier this evening that you can achieve and attain whilst doing your apprenticeship placement scheme or whatever IBM. And so these are just some of the ones I've achieved in the last year of being here. And quite frankly, just what can you achieve in just 1 year at IBM? And you'd be amazed, I think, what you can do and what you can push yourself to do. So networking people you never thought you would, at least not so quickly, perhaps. Networking is important, and you learn that very quickly. Networking is king, I suppose. Getting so much experience, not just to impress yourself. You learn career relevant and industry relevant, modern, up to date skills, trends. You follow the current, what's hot in the industry, so to speak. Much easier than I think, in my opinion, than you would have more easily done than in university, if that makes sense. So gaining lots of valuable skills, credentials, etc., that are more hard to come by than the traditional university routes. So yeah, that's basically it about me. I'll pass back on to you, John.
Thanks very much both for sharing your experience and insight there. So just coming on to just covering the application process. So first step here is obviously apply, and I know some questions coming in around when that opens, so we'll come on to that. That's a basic online application form, and you do have the opportunity to upload your CV at that point as well when you first apply. Following on from that, there is an online assessment, which is a fairly typical cognitive aptitude test that you need to complete. Once through that stage, then, if you've successfully kind of passed those stages, we would invite you to complete an application form, and that will be submitted. So that's like a Word application form, looking at some competencies that we're interested in seeing some experience in, and that will be reviewed by management. And then if that's successful, you'll receive an invitation to an exploration session. These are sometimes called assessment centres at other organisations, but I think exploration session is a much nicer term. So this will be half a day where you'll be taking part in a group activity where some of the managers will be able to kind of sit and observe how you perform in a team or group environment. And then there will also be an interview by way of a pre-prepared presentation. So we give you some criteria to go and create a presentation about you. We ask you to present that over the course of 15 minutes, and then there's a 15-minute conversation as part of that process as well. At that stage, if you've been successful with the exploration session, we'll then invite you back into something that we call a matching interview. So that's to make sure that we can match you to a part of the organization, basically, where what is it that you want to do? Is there some specific things that you want to get involved in? Where have we got some opportunities and some roles there, and making sure that we place people in the best place for them and also for the organization. So that's an overview of the application process. It's fairly standard, I would say, across the industry. Again, I've seen some questions in terms of, picking up on the fact that we're not looking for technical skills or people that have done computer science or anything like this. So what is it that we actually look for? So there's a number of competencies here that we look for. So we want people that can be a little bit creative in terms of problem solving or bring a bit of innovation into that. People that are adaptable and can be flexible to the needs of situations. People that like to work as part of a team and can bring something to a team and enjoy that aspect. A passion. We want you to have a passion for, hopefully a passion for technology or a part of technology, a passion for business, a passion for IBM, a passion for learning, ultimately, to have that interest. A drive to achieve. We want you to want to be successful, to be successful in both study and your work as well. Professionalism, a bit of leadership as well. So again, we don't necessarily expect you to have experience in all of these areas, but part of that application process and exploration process is to really see you in situations and to have a conversation with you to draw some of those. So we want people that just want to learn, want to develop, want to really contribute, and I would say have an open mindset as well is extremely important to us for people coming in. And once you come into IBM, that's absolutely important for us to have that growth mindset, open mindset. Okay, so there's some of the things we look for. And ultimately, as I said earlier, we want you to be you. We want you to be your authentic self. We value different experiences. Diversity is incredibly important to us. So we want different experiences, different perspective. We want people that have different ways of thinking, people that solve problems in different ways. We want you to be yourself. And we believe that you should have many opportunities to grow and develop your career. And sometimes that means trying new things and exploring new career paths. And all of that is very much encouraged here at IBM. Really the sky is the limit if you're willing to develop and have that mindset to grow. Whatever you choose to do at IBM, we just ask people and IBMers to bring their best and most authentic selves to work. That's the main thing for us. And I'll just come on to the last slide. There's been a few questions, I think, in terms of where we are in terms of our socials. So we've got all the usual social profiles that you can go and have a look at us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Have a look on our website. There's some good videos on YouTube there as well, which might help give you a bit of an insight into life at IBM as well. And that is my final slide. And I think we can move on to questions. Mitesh.
Oh yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for the insight. We've had quite a lot of questions. So I'm going to try and do them in a sort of semi-chronological order, and hopefully we can get through. I know you've answered quite a lot of them, so I'll try and answer the ones that keep coming up. So this should be quite a simple question. There's one that says about college students. Do you have opportunities for college students? I assume they're the same for anyone who's 17, 18, but maybe you could just quickly answer that, John.
Yeah, so anyone that's at college, I guess, doing A levels probably at that stage. So the gap year could be an opportunity. You can do a gap year at that stage if you're still not sure what to do and you want a bit of to gain some experience. But typically, most of our apprentices, I would say, join us from college having completed their A levels, and that's at any level of apprenticeship. That could be a level 3 apprenticeship, level 4, or a degree apprenticeship. So if you're at college or sixth form or entering that, then the apprenticeships, I think, is a good route probably for most people in that situation.
And there's a question about your skills build courses. Are they free of charge? Can anyone access them?
Yeah, absolutely, completely free. So again, that's part of what we do. So if you do a search for Skills Build IBM, you should be able to go and create a profile, sign up for that, and you'll get access to a huge number of learning opportunities for that, and that's completely free. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've had quite a few questions in the chat about what skills people can develop, and what they can do to prepare, etc. And I suppose that skills build course is one of the things they can do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that helps. I don't know, Zach, Liv, I don't know if you've got any thoughts in terms of what people might be able to, what might help them prepare.
I would personally say interpersonal skills, so presentation skills and sort of general people skills. You don't have to be very confident in like doing that if you're, say, like more of an introvert type person, but definitely like picking up on those small sort of things and knowing about them definitely can help.
Yeah, I'd agree. There are so many resources out there that you can practice interview questions. I mean, doing your research on the company before is always a good idea, just so you feel more comfortable. But I personally wasn't asked, oh, what does IBM do? It wasn't. They're not trying to trick you out. So I would just come prepared and be yourself, and then I guess practice general questions that you would normally expect to pop up.
I'm gonna follow up with that actually to both Liv and Zach, and just say, what do you think got you the job at IBM? So what do you think stood out in either your application or your interview, or what you did that meant that you guys got the job?
I guess, I mean, personality has been mentioned a lot. Building up a good rapport with the person who's interviewing you, so you come across as a human, not like you're reading a script. So there's only so much you can say perfectly. I mean, just be yourself. I mean, in my interview, I had a good laugh with them, a few jokes thrown around. It was really informal. Got to know them a little bit, loads of opportunity to ask them questions. That's always really good, because it's not just what can I offer IBM, it's what can IBM offer me. So ask the questions, because it'll get you in there, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree with that, what Olivia said, and just be yourself. I think for me it was just being myself and sort of showing that in how I speak, and where you sort of made it more informal and relaxed with the person that you're being interviewed by.
All right, thank you. So there's quite a few questions in the application process. I'm going to try and sort of cover them in sort of one. And you might have already covered this, but there's so many questions it's worth reiterating. So when do your roles open, John? And like, one of the questions is the application in the form of a personal statement, or do you have to fill in an IBM form? If you could just elaborate a little bit more on that, and then what happens, so it's kind of like clear.
Yeah, so in terms of the application form, first of all, so yeah, I mean that is an IBM template form, but it's a normal kind of application form, I would say. So there's the ability to kind of put a personal statement in that. So it's not a free form, so there is a template to that. It's fairly standard, but you'd put in a little bit about yourself, what you're studying, if you've got any grades, put the grades in. A little bit of a personal statement there. In terms of when roles open, so we do work on a bit of a kind of sprint perspective. So sometimes it depends on when we have a number of roles available. We would open up some of those roles. What I will say is that National Apprenticeship Week I should know what week this is. It's in February, second week of February, I think it is. But if you Google National Apprenticeship Week, you'll see we do a lot of activities around National Apprenticeship Week, and we are looking to open a lot of our apprenticeship roles during National Apprenticeship Week. However, if you go to that link at the top of that slide that's showing now, you can register your interest. So if you go onto that link, pop in your email address, you will then get notified via email pre the roles being open, so you don't have to keep thinking about it or giving yourself a reminder. You'll get notified when those roles open. So I would say, if you're interested in joining IBM, go to that link, register your interest, and you will get informed of when roles are opening.
And just on that note, there's a few questions also on how many apprentices do you take on a year across your cohort?
Again, that kind of varies on demand in the business in terms of the hiring. Just trying to think. So at the moment, let me just try and work back a little bit. So at the moment, we've got an induction of apprentices, of which we've got 10. We had over 40 that joined in September. We had probably 15 that joined in June. We had some that joined in March. So 70 to 100. I mean, 100's on the high side, I guess, per year, and that could be spread across the year in terms of different start dates. That will vary though, depending on the business landscape.
And so on the degree apprenticeships, do you have a number of universities that you work with? And
yeah,
if you're, are you able to share some of the universities you work with, and how does these sort of, and this might be a question for Liv and Zach, sort of work-life balance. Sorry. How much work do you do? How much studying do you do? What does that split look like, etc.?
Yeah, so I can question in terms of universities. So we do work with, we manage a relationship with a certain number of universities. So again, we keep that within our kind of span of control, I suppose. And we are very careful with the universities that we work with. So if I think about the digital and technology solutions degree apprenticeship, we work with, there's a university which has a London campus, which is called Northeastern University. So you can look them up. They're actually a US university founded out of Boston in the US, but have opened up a London campus, and that's in St. Catherine's Dock. They have a really nice campus there. So that's one university we work with in London. We work with Exeter University as well. We've got quite a few of those tech degree apprentices at Exeter, but they have, the model of these is that you're not there every week per se. So for example, Exeter, you will have a week-long learning block, I think every term, and then one day a week you get some remote learning for the university. That's quite common for degree apprenticeships. We work with Manchester Metropolitan University as well. We've also worked with the University of Kent as well, and that's more at the moment, that's on the chartered business side of things, but they are in the process, I think, of providing the digital and technology solutions to degree apprenticeship. So we're trying to kind of get a bit of geographical cover. When you apply, we won't necessarily tell you what university you're at, but clearly before you start and you formally join, we will obviously have the conversation with you, and it will be based on geographic location. So if you're based in London, the chances are you'll be in Northeastern. If you're based further north or around Manchester, probably MMU. If you're a little bit further in the southwest, Exeter. But even if you're not based in those areas and you're a little bit more remote, we'll make it work. We'll provide funding if required to visit those universities. A lot of that is delivered remotely as well, but then you do generally have, whether it's like a week-long residential block or a boot camp, they call them, you might go along to that for 5 days once a term. That's generally how it works. So they're the main universities. And then for level 4, we work with a couple of training providers. So this is Zach's experience, and you'll have sort of ongoing learner progress reports. Maybe Zach, you might want to just chip in a little bit more in terms of how that works for you.
Yeah, so every month there's a sort of meeting with your development coach, and just sort of an informal meeting, chat of your portfolio work, which is used as part of your endpoint assessment for when you get examinated and graded at the end of your apprenticeship. And every 3 months, you'll have a learn and progress review with the development coach and your IBM manager. And it's a little bit more formal, but still pretty informal. Just sort of functional skills, English, maths, very basic, nothing to worry about. And yeah, just again, it's general sort of chit chat, how things are going. And one day, 20% of the job hours each week, which is about equivalent to 1 day a week. So for me, that's a Friday. I just have away from project work, so not doing work related to Scott Gov, and just sort of studying portfolio work, basically whatever is relevant and can put down as well. And it's all generally just remote. I've not been in any in-person office or location for any required learning.
And just coming back, as Zach kind of mentioned that, and I know the kind of work-life balance, I didn't quite answer that question. So every single apprenticeship, there is a requirement for 80% of your time on the job, doing your job, and 20% off the job, which is your study. So if you're doing a degree apprenticeship, that would be 1 day a week, lectures, doing your study, or if you're doing a level 3 or level 4, you have a day doing your learning or reflective writing, or just focused on the apprenticeship. So you've got that time separated out for you. That's part of the law actually for apprenticeships.
Thanks, guys. I've got one more question, which is about supporting neurodiverse students, specifically autism. Perhaps you could answer that, and then I've got like sort of final wrap-up questions for the apprentices, as we're sort of just pushing over time a little bit. Conscious that we're late as well.
Yeah, no, I'm pleased you picked up on that one. So I did see that one. So we are, again, it comes back to our, inclusivity and diversity in terms of neurodiversity. So again, I mean, we have digital credentials and allyship for neurodiversity. We have a very strong community for people with diverse abilities. There's a lot of initiatives and programs for anyone with neurodiversity. That includes anything. Actually, just recently had somebody sort of join the team who has autism, ADHD, a number of areas in terms of neurodiversity, and that they bring an awful lot, because they've got new ways of thinking, different ways of thinking. We've got a lot of programs to support individuals. We will flex the way that we provide learning, even for people that might need that delivered in a different way as well. So that's really high on our agenda. And as a management team and in a corporation, we are all very keen to make sure that we are fully trained in terms of how we deliver and manage neurodiverse individuals. So again, please don't let that stop you. If it was, we're very welcome of anybody to join, because it's all about that individuality, being curious, and the diversity of the organisation.
Thank you for that. It's really useful to understand. I'm going to wrap it up by asking each of the Zach and Liv, can you give me one professional highlight and one personal highlight from being on the IBM programs? Whatever you guys think has been your most enjoyable or most successful personal and professional achievement.
I would say professional highlight. Pretty early on, I ran an event for my manager because she couldn't be there, and it was about 50 different partners came to the office, and I helped to host them, and it was a massive event, and I got recognition from the head of tech sales for that. So that was definitely a professional highlight. On a personal level, your confidence will go up massively within weeks. And the really good thing about IBM is anyone will talk to you no matter how high up they are. And that sort of feeds into the culture of curiosity. I mean, you can ask questions, anyone will speak to you. There's no food chain, if you will. It's very, very collaborative. So on a personal level, I've made loads of really great connections, and confidence has grown.
Yeah, so professional highlight for me probably be similar to Olivia's, which is when my QA lead was unexpectedly absent one day due to an illness, and I took over the sort of QA lead role as an apprentice, which was seemed a bit backwards to me at the time, but I sort of took over for a few days and managed it pretty well, and got pretty good feedback, positive feedback for it from team members as well as sort of the client as well directly. And personally, probably confidence, like Liv said, confidence probably more than anything. Confidence in yourself and knowing just what you're learning and doing is invaluable and is only just going to help you grow and go above and beyond, basically.
Thank you guys. I know it's we're running a little over, so we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you to John, Liv, and Zach, and thank you for everyone attending. I'm sorry we couldn't get through every single question that you've asked. There were some really great questions that I know we probably missed out on, but we'll try and address them. And you know, if you stay in touch with IBM, I'm sure you've got specific questions. They'll be happy to answer them. Once again, thank you for taking your evening to attend, and I hope you found it useful. If you want to recap on anything, we're going to put this up on our YouTube channel the next day or two. And you know, if you've got any questions, please either email us or the IBM team.